101.7 The Point. It's Liv. And this was really fun because we had just wrapped up our interview with Hailstorm. And then a guy comes out. He's like, hey, do you want to talk to Hollywood Undead? And I'm like, yeah, I do. So here we are. We got Hollywood Undead. Very unexpected. Oh, yeah. You guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having us. We're real desperate for new friends.
I'm glad to make new friends.
Yeah.
And what's so funny is like, you know, when I think Hollywood Undead, I think the masks. So like when I see you guys, I'm like, I'm trying to mesh it together still.
You guys look like my uncle.
So you guys are here out on tour with I Prevail and Hailstorm. And what I love about you guys so much is your sound. I can't put you guys in a box. Is there a box that, what would you describe Hollywood Undead sound as?
It's hard to, because our music's just so all over the place. Usually, like if I'm trying to explain to someone who's never heard of us, I say like Beastie Boys, Linkin Park.
Ooh.
You know, that's as close as you can get it, but it's really not that either.
And like add some tequila or something to that.
Yeah, like some Cabo Wabo, and then you get it. Like, we have a lot of history. The Point championed us for a long time when we started. We have a lot of history in this venue in particular. We got kicked out of our own show because we were wasted.
What?
He like took his socks off on stage and threw it in the crowd. He's like, you guys rock my socks off. I want to see yours. And thousands of people balled up their socks and threw them on stage. The local hands were pissed. We had I'm not going to say who. We had a hockey player come hang out with us here backstage. She had like a real sweet tooth. She was eating a lot of sugar, but doing it in a weird way through his nose.
Oh,
like,
yeah. No, it just, you fall down and it goes up.
Yeah, we have a lot of history here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Speaking of history, so back at the Point studio, we have our good friend Haley running the board, making sure this happens. She's like, hey, I actually have a really funny Hollywood Undead story.
Uh-oh.
She's like, they played this big Girl Scout event in St. Louis when I was like 12 years old. I'm like, Hollywood Undead playing for Girl Scouts. Does that ring any bells to you guys?
We used to drink so heavy that when I walked in, I was like, oh no, there's gonna be some security guard here that's gonna sock me in the face just for like something I did a while ago. So maybe, I don't remember a lot. Yeah, it sounds real.
Yeah.
It's weird enough that it sounds like it happened. Mm-hmm. So what are you guys working on next? You're touring now. Is there an album in the works? I know you had one come out. Was it just last year?
Yeah, like a year and 8 months ago, something like that. But yeah, we have a new track that's about to come out soon.
All right, tell me more.
Music, yeah. I don't know how much we can say, but
this guy thinks he's Elvis the way he holds his mic, like just. Yeah, so we have songs released and we're ready to go, but just like, you know, the bureaucracy of the music industry, like finding the right record label, doing this, like we're ready to go. It's just things have to line up. A lot of times it's beyond our power, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're out on tour right now. Do you guys have like a routine, something you do to get hyped for the show? Or have you guys been doing this long enough that you're just like, all right, let's go. And you just walk up on stage?
Girl Scout show. I eat Girl Scout cookies. That's what gets me hyped. So like,
we got a routine. We microdose stuff. we put on James Brown before every show. That's a routine.
Yeah, we get real
power stance.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to try the power stance. It really works.
What's the power
It's
stance?
like where you stand with your arms, like, you know, like if you want to race.
Okay.
Like that. We do that for like a minute before we go on.
Oh, okay.
Endorphins and like makes you happier. It's great. It really does work.
That makes sense. Like the psychology of like victory.
Exactly.
All right. It's like an Olympic move.
Yeah, it is.
Have you guys been watching the Olympics while on the road?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of it. It's cool. I like it. I'm like, hell yeah, go America. It's great. Like it makes me feel pride, which is I like, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you guys were to be in the Olympics, like what would, like if there was an Olympic sport that you would be so good at that you could just make up, like what's your one thing you could get gold in?
Girl Scout cookie.
I feel like there's so many sports I didn't know exist. So like you could tell me a sport and I would believe it was real.
And they have break dancing in the Olympics this year for the very first time.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
If you were like, there's competitive mopping, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like something they would have in the Olympics today. Like,
are you a Swiffer guy or an old school mop guy?
I'm old school, just dirty, just 8 buckets. Like you didn't do it right, you got to change the water out 5 times. That kind of guy.
That's awesome. So one thing that I was asking Hailstorm, I'm curious for you guys too, because you guys have been making music for a long, long time at this point. Is there stuff where you look back at stuff that you wrote and you're like, man, that was kind of cringy? Because like I think back to say, 2008, things that if I were to write down in a journal, I'd be like, what the hell were you thinking? Yeah. But I don't have to relive that. You guys do through your music. Is there stuff that you look back on and you're like, or do you just own it and you're like, this is great?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot. We've been doing music for 20 years. So
Yeah.
You change a lot in 20 years.
There is.
Sure.
And there's like big bands that you guys play, and I'm not going to name them, that we know and we've talked to, and they say the same thing.
I bet.
Like bands you wouldn't think, because that album was so successful, and they're like, man, I wish we didn't do that. I don't like that album because it's
Right.
and they're like, they grew. I'm like,
Right.
wow, that was a huge success, but they feel that way. So I think every artist feels that way.
Yeah. I was always curious about that because, again, it's like you change so much, you grow so much, not only as an artist, but as a person. So it's like, why did I write that?
I guess like look at photos of you in high school, but imagine those photos were on billboards everywhere.
Yeah.
And then everyone remembered those photos. You'd be like, oh, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah. But then you still got people that, they want to hear those songs. They want to scream them back to you. And there's a nostalgia factor to it, too.
totally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then trends come up on TikTok with your old music. I'm like, oh, why that song?
That's right. What is that like to see your old stuff come up and you got Gen Z like doing a little dance to it?
It's cool. I love it. I love it because it gives like old songs like new life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, TikTok's great for artists. It really is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just don't know how to use it. I'm too old now.
You can handle it.
I'll figure it out one day.
You guys, thank you so much. Hollywood Undead playing tonight at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, along with I Prevail and Hailstorm. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.